And we've closed the Dunkirk pocket. Yes. Okay, that's good. So now we can put things back to normal. So I want all of you guys back here holding this. However, I then want half of you just to confirm that this pocket will be closed. So I'll put 15 of you here, 15 of you here. I then want my original garrison guys. You guys, they don't have a general, that's a bit annoying. Come back to protect the lowlands. Alright, all of you guys, just pushing it here. You might lose the attack temporarily, but they shouldn't have any supply. So the longer you attack, the lower their supply will get, the lower their organization will get. You will win it eventually. Here we go. What happened to the divisions here? Did they retreat? Right, you guys hold here, then here. You all okay. We just managed to get in there. So we finally closed the pocket over here, and we ended up killing 32,000 encircled men. So we did take heavy casualties there, which is why we're struggling to keep our manpower up. Like, if you remember in the last episode, you know, we'd lost half, like, effectively in the last month of the war, we've doubled our casualties because of that invasion. However, you know, we've also done 700,000 casualties to the United Kingdom, and we've done 242,000 to the United States. So, you know, we're dealing far more casualties than what we're taking, but we can't sustain those kinds of losses long term. So I appreciate the offer, Franco, but why do I need 25 convoys? Well, A, we share a land border, and B, are you going to send it by the east or by the west? I guess we'll find out. So the Germans somehow, I'm not really sure how, maybe they pulled out, have managed to completely cut off this pocket, which is great for us. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start preparing our invasion of the British Isles. So we are managing to do some successful naval raiding in the Mediterranean in the west, where they still control Gibraltar, and we actually just took down 2 destroyers and 3 convoys with no losses of our own, so it's actually quite good. Now, because we're consistently getting convoys over in this part of the Mediterranean, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple portions of fighters, 400 fighters, and tell them to go around the Mediterranean. We'll do some close air support as well. So I feel like a real idiot for not knowing this before, but I hadn't done any of these focuses down here, mainly because placate the Japanese doesn't seem that good to me, and taking back our old colonies just gets us claims and war goals. So I really didn't think it was that interesting, and I feel like a real idiot for not knowing it, because when I actually just, you know, at curiosity hovered over what these 2 focuses down here do, assume the naval burden gets you a 10% production bonus to submarines, light hulls, cruisers, heavy ships, and carriers. And Imperial Ambitions gives you 10% factory output, 5% dockyard output, and 10% war support. Those 2 focuses put together are huge. And if I'd known they were there before, I would have beelined for them. Like, I've been attempting to build up a navy for like the last couple years in the game. If I'd known that I could have had, you know, 10% off all of the submarines and everything, and then a 5% dockyard output bonus, that's huge. Like, okay, yeah, no, I mean, I wish I'd known that before, but we're now going to take back our old colonies, because, you know, those bonuses after that are actually really good, and I kind of wish I'd known that before. So our manpower still isn't great. All we're doing now is we're waiting to recruit some more divisions, and then we'll just attempt to invade the British Isles. We're churning out as many planes and dockyards and submarines, and we're even doing a couple cruisers as well. And it's just, you know, we're just not able to keep up with the manpower. I was going to pull out these guys from Africa, but I don't think it's worth it. I think we can survive without them. And luckily for us, they haven't actually landed another naval invasion in our territory. They did manage to land one over here in the German area, but they got quickly pushed out. So yeah, we're just waiting for our manpower to mobilize, and then we'll commence the invasion. Okay, so it looks like we're able to maintain air superiority in the channel. but they still have a couple thousand fighters here. So we don't have full air support, but we don't have full air superiority, but we do have more than 50%, so we do have green air. Okay, so we have launched our navy. Hopefully, and the green air should help our navy quite a lot. So as you can see, the Allies have a lot of ships in the channel, so we're not able to get naval superiority, so we can't actually send our naval expeditions yet. But we are managing to hold the sky, but as you can see, we are losing a lot of planes every day. So we were able to get enough supremacy in the English Channel to send our expedition forces off. None of them have been able to land yet, but we have started the naval attack on Portsmouth. We're not winning, and I very much doubt we'll be able to take it. So we're just going to have to land around Portsmouth and then attack it from behind, and then that should be enough to take it out. But at the moment it doesn't look like there's any divisions in Dover, so maybe we'll be lucky and we'll land unopposed there. So our air superiority is, we're holding it, but our ratio of what planes we're losing to what planes they're losing, we lose far more than they do, and we're very, very, very slowly losing our air superiority. It's slowly getting worse, so we most likely won't be able to hold it forever. Especially if the Italians and the Germans don't send us any fighters, which it doesn't look like they have yet. Okay, so we've landed next to Portsmouth, so now we're just going to want to quickly go around it and attack it from multiple directions and force it to surrender that way. If we can't get a port, then, you know, the invasion's effectively dead before it even starts. Although we are going to send one division to try and take Plymouth, just because if it's easy territory, we might as well. What you really want to aim to do with the United Kingdom is just land 24 to 48 divisions and then just send manually send each one to a victory point and then hope you can take enough of them before they can mount any kind of real resistance. I've never tried invading them this late in the game, so I doubt then. So you can already see they've got some divisions here. So we're probably not going to be able to use that strategy. This is probably going to be a little bit more of an uphill battle. It looks like we're about to land in Dover with no resistance, which is... I thought there would be some garrison forces there, apparently not. So you can... Christ, so we've actually... If you look at the amount of ships we've sunk compared to what we've lost, we're actually punching way above our weight at the moment. I would imagine, though, that a lot of that is probably convoys. So we've still got Yellow Sea, and we've actually got less than 50% supremacy in the English Channel, so that's quite concerning. If these guys can't land now, they'll probably get killed on the way back. So that's alarming. I don't even know how we're going to be able to deal with supply. So we've actually managed to land in Dover with no... They weren't able to get division down in time. I don't know why they didn't already have a division force there. But what's concerning is our initial landing force, which is next to Portsmouth, they still don't have any supply. Okay, so we've managed to hook up our division, so they've now all got supply. And we just quickly need to take Portsmouth, because if we can't take Portsmouth, we're really going to struggle for supply. And then once we've taken Portsmouth, if we can push out and take London, then that's huge for us, because London's obviously, you know, it's the capital. It's a lot of victory points. It's a lot of factories, a lot of resources. It's even a lot of manpower. You know, London's got, you know, such a large population that if they lose that, they're losing a big chunk of their potential manpower pool. Okay, so we've actually managed to kill the divisions in Portsmouth. It didn't look like they died, so I don't know if they quickly went into the English Channel and we missed them. But I don't remember, you know, de-orging them. But maybe I just wasn't looking. It looks like we've got a couple major naval battles going on. By the looks of it, America's brought some big fleets over. I don't think our fleets can handle or even go toe-to-toe with them. So at the moment, our strategy is just to simply hold enough supremacy in the Channel long enough that we can get supply to our guys in the UK. We can't win a war of attrition when it comes to ships. Like, we can't outproduce America or the UK, let alone both of them together. So what would have been nice is if we were able to mine lay the English Channel before this, but obviously, you know, we could never get superiority in the Channel, so there was no way we were going to be able to do that. And not only that, I couldn't delay launching the invasion anymore, because it's already quite late in the... it's a lot later in the game than I would have liked to have launched our Sea Lion operation. Okay, so it looks like we're holding for the time being. Unfortunately, any kind of advance I've tried to do has just been immediately stopped. I can't... I've tried to push out. It's not working. So at the moment, we're just going to try and hold this position for the time being. We've got 2 ports, so we'll hold it. We'll let them we'll let them attack into us, and then hopefully, they'll run out of manpower or rifles in those divisions, and we can push out. Christ, so I honestly don't know how this works. As you can see, we lost a heavy part of our navy. Like, we lost a lot of ships. But on the flip side, we were able to take out some huge ships on the Allies' part. We took out 3 battleships and 2 heavy cruisers. I mean, I don't know the math. Maybe someone could work it out, but I don't want to say it's a fair trade. But, I'm not going to complain too much about losing the amount of destroyers that we did, because those battleships are big ships, and I don't quite know how we were able to take those out. So we're continuing to just lose tremendous amounts of planes in the air. I don't want to think about the amount of manpower we've lost in just fighters going down. We're trying to pump out our navy as much as possible, but we still can't compete with the Allies. Okay, so somehow we've lost another bunch of destroyers, but we've been able to take out another battleship. I don't know how. I mean, they're called destroyers, so I guess it figures, but yeah, I mean, I guess I'll take it, because that's a huge ship. So at the moment, they're just continually advancing into us, into battles that they can't win. Okay, so we've got an ace pilot. That's always nice. Got a little bit more war support. And they've actually tried to do the old switcheroo and come around behind us. Luckily, we've actually got some Italian divisions stationed here for some reason. Not quite sure why. It looks like the Russian war has become a little bit of a stalemate, although they have taken Moscow, so I would imagine they would win. It is just slowing down a bit. Okay, we've got another ace pilot. I think we've just got so many planes in the air that even though they're low tech, we've got so many in the air. Okay, got another ace pilot. They're launching a huge offensive into us. I think we might actually lose Portsmouth here. It looks like the Germans have sent off some divisions, which is nice, but I think we're going to lose Portsmouth regardless. We are putting all of our fighters in the channel, so that's probably what's helping our navy, but yeah, so we lost Portsmouth. I'm launching an offensive to try and take it back straight away, because even though we've still got Dover, that port on its own doesn't bring in enough supply to hold the 50 odd divisions we've got in the United Kingdom. Christ, and we have, and we're losing all of our ships in the channel. And the only way, we're actually able to hold any kind of naval supremacy in the channel is the fact that I've just effectively sacrificed my air force and shoved every single plane I can muster into the channel, which is why we're losing so many. So I'm actually going to go ahead and build some forts and more naval bases in the 2 provinces we have here. Okay, so again, not sure really how it works, but we've actually been able to take out a carrier. And we only lost 4 planes, so yeah, that's great, I'll take it. Oh, Jesus Christ. I honestly don't know how we're doing it. I don't want to say submarines are OP maybe, but we did put a lot. Those submarines we were building were, torpedo focused. So I can only imagine that it's the torpedoes that are just hitting the larger ships. So they're only human... Okay, so we got another ace pilot. So they're only human waving into 1 province at the moment, which is good, because we're actually building forts and naval bases in Dover to help hold that position. Looks like Japan's actually having quite a good game. They're struggling with the British Raj, but they're doing okay. Okay, so I don't know why, but it appears that the Allies have pulled all of their fighters out of the English Channel. I don't know why. We had about 50% air superiority, and I was losing way more fighters than they were. But maybe they moved them all over the England itself when they launched that human wave offensive into us. I'm not sure, but we've now got full air superiority over the Channel, so that's great. And hopefully that'll stop all of our navy from being wiped out. I think our Air Force is the only thing that is actually giving us any kind of naval supremacy in the Channel, because obviously, try winning a naval battle when you're being bombed. Okay, so we did lose a kind of a big chunk. We've taken so many hits to our navy that is actually a big chunk of our navy we just lost there. But we were able to not only take out 2 battleships, we were able to take out the American pride of the fleet. I don't know how, but we did. So somehow we actually took out the American pride of the fleet. and another battleship at the same time. Okay, so we're attempting a small push. It appears the Germans have actually sent us some divisions, so they're helping us out, although we are now struggling for supply, which is why I'm continually trying to build more naval bases in the provinces we have got. Because, without Portsmouth, one naval base isn't enough. If we can push out and get this province here, then that's going to help. It's got an air base in it, so at the very least. Okay, so we've taken out another 2 battleships. That's great. Not really sure how we're doing it. Our navy is being heavily reduced though. We had nowhere near as much as they did to begin with, so we're just trying to pump out as many light cruisers as possible to keep up, but we are struggling. There are so many planes in the air right now. Okay, so since they decided to pull all of their air force out of the channel, I've actually gone ahead and I've started moving some into England itself. So hopefully that will help us push out. Okay, so we were able to secure that province, and while we've de-orged them in that province, I'm now sending out a huge, I'm pushing as much as I can to try and take London. Now that we have got some fighters over England. Obviously I've kept all of our naval bombers in the channel, but I'm moving all of our tactical bombers, or at least a lot of them, over England itself, because if we can bomb their factories, and in particular if we can bomb their units and their divisions, that's going to give us an edge as well. Jesus, look at the amount of divisions they have. Okay, so we're maintaining air superiority over England. No idea where the rest of their air force is. Maybe they're moving it over to India to help against Japan. I don't know. I mean, we have taken out a lot. I will stress that, even though we did lose a lot of ours, we did take a lot of theirs out as well. Oh, Jesus. So we've actually been pushed back again. Maybe I was, testing it too much by trying to push out as much as I did, but we've been pushed back to just Dover. So it's not looking great at the moment. Some might say this is our darkest hour. But, we're really low on supply as well. I think our divisions are about half supplied. And that's with me trying to build ports and stuff in Dover. Obviously now we've only got one province. They're just continually attacking us, so we don't have much time to build. Okay, so we're going to quickly try and push out, and we're going to try and take Portsmouth back. If we can take Portsmouth back, that's going to give us supply again, so that's big. Okay, it looks like there's a little bit of an opening, so we're going to see if we can sneak some units into London as well. Probably not going to work, but it's always worth a shot. We're just attacking on every front, because if we can hold the divisions where they are, then... Okay, Christ, so we were able to take out some more battleships. I don't know how many the British have, but we've definitely taken out a lot of them. We've got some New Zealand or some Australian convoys here as well. They're a long way from home. Okay, we've got another naval battles here. I can only imagine that our subs, with the amount of torpedoes that are on them, are what are causing the majority of the damage. Still not able to take London, but at the very least our position is a little bit more secure now. Yeah, so you can just look in the casualties where they've been human waving us, just consistently attacking into us. The amount of manpower the British is losing is staggering. Now, realistically, the British should never be short on manpower because they have all their colonies to pull from. Particularly, they have the British Raj, but they've been really pushing into us. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're not able to push out new divisions anymore. Jesus Christ! So I don't know how, but we've taken out another battleship and another heavy cruiser, and we only lost one sub in return. I mean, you can see the size of our fleet compared to the size of their fleet, and we're just doing so much damage. I wonder if their spotting is just really low, and they're unable to detect our subs. I wonder if that has something to do with it. I did focus on the research that allowed us to have low visibility, so maybe they're just not detecting them. Okay, so we were actually able to push out... So we were able to push out west a little bit, and I'm now just pushing on all fronts because their units are quite de-orged because they lost their previous battles. And if we can push out on every single front, at this point, any little bit of land we can get is a huge bonus for us because it means they're going to have to spend more manpower to try and take it back off of us. We're going to try and go for a little bit of an encirclement here. Okay, and it appears that we've been able to push up to Bristol, so that's good. Okay, so we've managed to encircle these divisions. It's only 4, but, better than nothing. Okay, so apparently the United Kingdom thought it was an appropriate time to declare war on Iceland. I think you've got bigger things to worry about, but okay, why not? I mean, Iceland literally has 0 divisions, not even any planes. That's good job.